Good morning, class. Today we'll be discussing and practicing numbers and operations while subtracting whole numbers within 1,000 using a word problem and regrouping in base 10. We'll use base 10 when deciding which numbers belong in our hundreds, tens, and one place. Good morning, class. Today we will be discussing and practicing numbers and operations while subtracting whole numbers within 1,000 using a word problem in base 10. We will use base 10 when deciding which numbers belong in our hundreds, tens, and one places. So let's read our problem. Gavin has 201 Xbox games. He goes over to a friend's house and brings 76. How many does he still have left at home? First, we can go through and underline our key information. So we know Gavin has 201 Xbox games, but he goes over to a friend and brings 76. So how many does he still have left at home? Those keywords like left at home tell us that we're going to be subtracting. We'll use our set model to help us solve this problem. So Gavin has 201 games. 201 is our minuend, which means our number that we're subtracting from. So first we're going to lay out our 201. We have our hundreds place, which is equal to 1 flat. 1 flat has 100 individual units. So we have 100, 200. That equals 2 flats. In our tens, we have a 0. That means we have no longs in our 10 spots. Then we skip to our ones. In our ones, we have 1 spot, so we have 1 unit. So here we have 201. Now we need to subtract our 76 that he brought to his friends. We start with our ones unit first. Since we can't subtract 6 from 1, we have to regroup. Since we have no longs in our 10 spots, we have to go through and make a flat into 10 longs. Okay, so right here we see 10 longs is equal to 1 flat because it's 10 longs and we are in base 10. So now we can re-put our 10 longs into our 10 spot and take away 1 flat because we know they are equivalent. Now we must regroup again from a long into 10 units. So we have our long and we need to set up and align 10 units. Okay, so we now see that our 10 units are equivalent to 1 long. So we can take away our 1 long and replace it for our 10 units. So we now have 11 units to work with, and we need to subtract our 6 ones from our units. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have now subtracted our 6 from our 1 in our ones place. We now then have to subtract our 70 in our tens place. So to do that, we can take away our 10 longs because we know each long is 10 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this leaves us with 1 flat, 2 longs, and 5 units, thus giving us our answer 125. So we now know with our set model that 201 minus 76 is 125. Okay, now we're going to move on to our second model that can help us find the answer to the problem. This is our linear model. Our linear model can be seen as a number line. From my number line, it goes from 110 to 210 in equal separate parts. So first we're going to start at 201. When we start at 201, we're going to subtract our 1 to get to 200. Once we're at 200, we have a number that is divisible by 10, which closely relates back to our base 10 model. So now we can subtract our 70. But when we get to the end after subtracting 70, we can't forget to subtract our other 5. So let's subtract our 70. So you can now see we've subtracted our 70 plus our 1. So now we have to go back through, and 76 minus 71 is 5. So we have to go back through and subtract our individual 5. And then we get to our answer right here, which is 125. That is how we use our linear model in order to find 201 minus 76.